I'll tell you something. Start where your body is at. I got props. If your body has been like this, in a state of constriction for a long, long time, you can't expect that overnight to go here. It's too much of a jump. And actually, when we go from a place like this to a place like this, it's just going to send your nervous system back down because it's too much. Too much, too fast, too soon for your nervous system. That's why when, people have those retreats where they cry and they do so much, it feels good in the moment, but so much expansion, it's just going to go back down. It's not sustainable. So what we do is we start slow. So if resourcing feels like this to your body, so what we need to do is, what's the space in between that we could take? And then we take a rest. And then we take a little bit of another step. And then we take a rest. We don't try and stay resourced all the time. It's too much. And your body's going to do this. So we just notice something that feels good. And then we go back to resting and living our life. And then we notice something that feels good. And then we go back to resting and living our life. And then every time you're just going to have a little bit more capacity and a little bit more capacity and a little bit more capacity and a little bit more capacity. But you start where your body's at. So what does that look like practically? If noticing the place within your body that feels safe feels like too much, when you cannot resource in, you resource out. You, for example, can look out and see if you can see something that you think is pretty or feels nice to look at. And then just notice it for a little bit. I have a really big tree outside my window, so I like to look at that. And I just notice a tree. And I just notice the leaves as they're being pushed around by the wind. I notice maybe the empty branches because the winter and there are so empty branches. I notice the blue sky against the tree. I just notice. Then I go on with my life. If I have a little bit more space in my nervous system, I might notice where in my body I can notice that it is nice to look at it. Like, for example, when I look at it, I actually can feel my back relax a little. So I notice that. I notice how my back relaxes when I look at it. That would be like a step 2. You always start where your body's at. And you will notice as you try little by little by little, your capacity continues to grow. There's nothing wrong with where you're at. That's just where your body's at right now.